Entering the ring is the senior division of the showmanship intermediates. This is your first call.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm thankful to be back here at the Gage County Fair, sorting through the GOAT show here this evening to kick us off in senior showmanship. I think we have several individuals that are working hard and doing a nice job, but I do think that there's one in particular that separates themselves in terms of getting their animal stopped and set up quickly and efficiently, and then still being able to travel around the ring with relative ease and comfort and unison with himself and the animal. Now, I'll go and show you who our champion and reserve showmans are, but let's go ahead and give these kids a big round of applause.
Congratulations to our senior showmanship champion. That was Wyatt Involdson. Also receiving purple was Lila Alschwade. Receiving blue was Austin March, Nora Alschwade, and Regan Pfeiffer. Entering the ring next is the intermediate division of showmanship. Juniors, this is your first call. First call for juniors.
out here in intermediate showmanship. A kind of the similar story to as the seniors. Excuse me. I think there's one individual that kind of separates themselves out here in terms of being able to have combine the right kind of intensity with staying calm and confident in how they're showing their animal out here, getting them set up, and being able to move as a single unit around the ring. I think they're doing a very, very nice job. I think it gets a little bit closer between reserve and for third, but let's go ahead and put our hands together for these exhibitors, and I'll show you the top two.
Congratulations to our intermediate showman. That went to Bentley Myers. Reserve went to Brendan Tim. Receiving blue in that class was Elizabeth Rice, Jack Oshwade, Landon Swanson, and Lena Oshwade. Next to enter the ring is the junior division of the showmanship.
we got a really large group of junior showmen out here, and all these kids are very obviously working hard, but I think there's a little bit of a difference in some experience levels out here. Some kids, this may be pretty early on in their show career, and some of others maybe have not only shown at the county fair quite a few times, but also exhibited at some other shows as well, whether it's through the jackpot season or something along those lines. And I think that experience shows, especially at this stage of the game, in terms of just being comfortable out here and working with your animal, making sure that you combine eye contact with keeping your animal stopped and set up. But I'll go out and show you who the top 2 showmen are, but let's go ahead and give these kids a big round of applause.
Congratulations to our junior showman. That went to Emma Wallenberg. Second purple went to Bo McClintock. Receiving blue in the junior division was Blake Tim, Brinley Pfeiffer, Briar Myers, Grant Jonas, Hudson Hupka, Kaylor Smith, Morgan Rice, Ryan Holensey, and Emma Lane. We'll now have the first and seconds from the senior, intermediate, and the junior back for overall showmanship. If you have a Pee-wee exhibitor, please start getting ready at this time. We will have the Pee-wee division after the overall pick.
out here for our overall showmanship. I think we have several very good showmen out here, and I hope kids are ringside watching and how this group of showmen, how quickly and efficiently they get their animals stopped and set up, making sure that their feet are squared up, and then at the same time being able to walk well with their animals around the ring. I think they're all doing a nice job, but let's go ahead and congratulate these kids, and I'll go out and show you the top 4.
Congratulations to our overall showman that went to Wyatt Ulvidson. That award is sponsored by Security First Bank of Beatrice. Receiving second was Emma Wallenberg, third Bentley Myers, and fourth Lila Oshwade. Next in the ring will be the Pee Wee Showmanship. So if you have a Pee Wee exhibitor, please start making your way to the gate at this time. Following Pee Wee Showmanship, we'll move to our breeding meat goat classes. So we need our breeding doe kids. Start making your way to the gate. Breeding doe kids.
Out here for our Pee Wee Showman. Let's give these kids a really big round of applause for coming out tonight. Congratulate them as they exit the ring.
Entering the ring is the class of breeding doe kids. First call, breeding doe yearlings. First call, breeding doe yearlings.
here to kick off the breeding show this evening. The young ladies doe is going to win this class pretty comfortably for me. A stout skulled, neat fronted kind of a doe that's round in her body type. She's easily the most massive and powerful when you have your hands on her, and how she progresses out to a stout hip. Still balances well from the side. A nice doe to go ahead and lead off with. Definitely a little bit of a size difference here between second and third, but the young man's doe, pound per pound, is probably just the stouter and more dimensional female. Her skull, forearm, and bone are just a shot more powerful and massive, and she still has more shape up high as well. I still like her extra look and balance from the side when the young man gets her collected. She just hits me just a little bit more striking in the way that she's put together, still a little bit stouter as well. The black-headed doe that's going to round out the class is a high-performing, good-bodied, sound-structured kind of a female in her own right. Just not as just stout and muscular or dimensional as the pair ahead of her. Still just a little bit plainer in the way that she's put together. But let's go ahead and give those kids a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our class winner with a purple. That was Lila Oshwade. Also receiving a purple was Landon Swanson. Receiving a blue was Elizabeth Rice. Next to enter the ring is the breeding doe yearlings. Breeding doe yearlings.
a nice group of does out here in the yearling division, and the young ladies doe that's going to go ahead and win combines what I like in the does that come in second and third. That's a very powerfully constructed female that's open up in her chest, round in her body type. She's easily the freshest and most expressive in her muscle shape when you get your hands on her out of the backside of her shoulder and out through her hip. That's a very powerful kind of a female. And then from the side, she's really stout about her skull, yet still neat and extended up front. She's just quite a bit fresher and more athletic in her appearance. A nice doe to go ahead and lead off with. The young lady's doe that's going to come here in second probably matches my class winner in terms of just a look and balance out here. That's a tall-shouldered doe that's good-bodied, and she's level out through her hip. When you compare it back to my class winner, she's just a bit plainer when you get your hands on her, more peaked over her top line and her shoulder. Just need to, or her rack, excuse me. I just want to freshen her up in that regard. Just reads more mature in the shape of her skull, her neck, and her chest. I want to see her just a little bit neater and more youthful in the way that she's put together. A young man's doe that's going to come here in third is a massive bird doe, really wide constructed. She's huge bodied. I like how wide she is when you're stepping behind her as well. I need to tone that one back in her condition by quite a bit. A heavier conditioned female who's starting to affect the way that she moves up either end of her structure and how she balances from the side. A young lady's black-headed doe that's going to come here in fourth is a really long-bodied, extended kind of a female that's very lean and hard to the touch. I just need to see her wider and more dimensional when you get in behind her. Stouter up in her bone work as well. A similar story for the Cape shoulder doe that's going to round us out. A long-bodied, flexibly made kind of a female that just needs more width and dimension. But let's go ahead and give those exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Class winner earning a purple ribbon was Lena Oshwade. Also receiving a purple ribbon was Nora Oshwade. Receiving blue in that class was Emma Wallenberg, Landon Swanson, and Reagan Pfeiffer. Next to enter the ring is going to be breeding meat goats 2 to 3 years old. We have one entry.
Just a single entry here in the age doe division, and the young lady's paint doe is really good in her body type. She's flexible in her structure. Obviously, she's starting to show her maturity for this stage of the game through her neck and down and through her chest. Just want to freshen her up in that regard, make her just a little bit stouter when he's stepping behind her. But let's go ahead and congratulate her.
Congratulations to Elizabeth Rice with a purple ribbon. Next to enter the ring is breeding aged meat goats. Following the selection of the breeding aged meat goat, we will have all our boar goats come back, our boar breeding goats, first and second purples, back for champion.
A nice pair of does here at the top end of this class. But again, this young lady's doe is going to win pretty comfortably for me. Her combination of power and balance kind of sets her apart out here. She's the best structured, best looking doe when she stopped and parked profile. And then when you get on top of them, she's easily just the most massive, the most dimensional one when you get your hands on her. A nice doe to go ahead and lead off with. The young lady's red doe that's going to come here in second probably matches my class winner in terms of just look and balance from the side. Really long-necked, good structured kind of a female who's very flexible and correct up either end. It's just when you get right on top of her, she doesn't have near the same kind of just shape and muscularity as my class winner. A young man's doe that's going to round us out. A really neat front-end extended kind of a female that's very loose in her structure. Just needs more muscularity to her. But let's go ahead and give those kids a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our class winner, Morgan Rice. Also receiving a purple in that class was Elizabeth Rice. Receiving a blue was Bo McClintock. Entering the ring next is our champion boar breeding goats.
As we get these class winners back out here, I think really competitive doe show so far this evening, but in terms of combining muscularity, power, and balance with still being fresh and youthful and athletic in the way that they're put together, I think there's kind of a couple that sort themselves off. The young ladies doe out of the first class is going to go ahead and be our champion. The doe out of the second class will be our reserve. Let's give them a round of applause.
Congratulations to our champion boar breeding goat that went to Lila Oshwade. Reserve champion boar breeding goat went to Lena Washwade. The champion award was sponsored by Landmark Implement, and the reserve champion award was sponsored by Gage County 4-H Council. Next to enter the ring is going to be our commercial breeding doe kids.
Here in this top three of this class, I think we have three really nice kind of females, but the young man's doe, again, is going to win very comfortably for me. She's the stoutest, most powerful, most opened up female out here who still is the most athletic in her look, build, and balance. I think that's a really high quality one to go ahead and lead off with. The young man's doe that's going to come here in second, I like how that's a long neck, tall shouldered kind of a female. She's very firm and expressive to the touch down her top. popping out through her hip. I think she's really leveled on her top line as well. She needs to be softer back into her flank and more elevated in her chest to help her balance up just a shot better from the side. I would like to make her just a little bit rounder and bolder in her rib cage as well. A young lady's doe that's going to come here in third has got all the power and dimension and stoutness that you could possibly want in one. That's a really stout skulled, big forearmed, round bodied kind of a doe that's very good in her shape and muscularity up high. Her maturity pattern for me is why she's going to end up third. She's pretty short and coarse in the way that she's put together, particularly in her neck, shoulder, and down into her cannon bone. I just need to see that one with a little bit more grow and future in her, but I think she's really good from just a muscularity and dimension standpoint. A young man's doe that's going to come here in fourth is a really feminine, loose-structured, and soft-bodied kind of doe. Of the remaining four, that's the best handling and most muscular one compared to the initial trio, though. Still needs to be a wider and more opened up to work up any higher. A young man's doe that's going to come out here in fifth is a wide, pulled apart kind of female that's very bold in her rib. When you get your hands on her, she's just a little bit softer and plainer to the touch, and then from the side, not quite as just neat in the way that she's put together. The pair of does that are going to round out the class, they're both very sound structured kind of does. Young man's does just a little bit better in the build of her hip and hind leg. Both of them just need to be a little bit stouter, more powerful to work up any higher, but let's go ahead and give them a round of applause.
Congratulations to our class winner, Grant James. Also receiving purple ribbon was Wyatt Involdson and Emma Wallenberg. Receiving blues in that class was Bentley Myers, Hudson Hubka, Kaylor Smith, and Ryan Hohensee. Entering the ring next is the Breeding Doe Yearlings, commercial Breeding Doe Yearlings. This is a single entry class, so breeding meat goats 2 to 3 years, please make your way to the ring.
A young lady brought out just a single entry out here, and a wide and powerful kind of a doe that's still very practical in their structure. Maybe just not quite as neat in the way that she's assembled up there through her front end. Would like to see her just a little bit leveler out through her hip, but big picture does a lot of things well. Let's put our hands together for her.
Congratulations to our Breeding Doe Yearling class winner, Morgan Rice. Next to enter the ring is the breeding meat goats 2 to 3 years. Bo McClintock, please make your way to the ring. Looking for Bo McClintock.
Just another single entry out here, really long-necked, extended kind of a doe that's very flexible off either end. Maybe not quite as stout as some other ones out here, but still has the right pieces from a structure and balance standpoint. Let's go ahead and congratulate him.
Congratulations to our class winner, Bo McClintock. Next to enter the ring, we will choose our champion commercial breeding goat. So we need our first and second purples from the previous classes in the commercial division back into the ring.
A nice group of does out here in our commercial drive, and I think that they're all bring some quality and some breeding value to the table. But of the pair of does out of the first class, probably just fit my speed just a little bit more in terms of being a fresh and muscular does that are just more athletic in the way that they're put together. So we're going to keep those two together for champion and reserve. Let's congratulate those young men.
Congratulations to our champion commercial breeding goat. That went to Grant James. Reserve champion commercial breeding goat went to Wyatt Involdson. Those awards are sponsored by Horseshoe Creek Boar Goats and Gage County 4-H Family. Next to enter the ring is going to be our homebred and raise. We are going to run our 3 single entries in together. So if you have a breeding doe kid, breeding doe yearling, or breeding meat goat, please start to enter the ring now.
out here in our home and raised division. These are technically 3 different class winners out here that we just put in together all at once. But I think it's cool that you guys have a division like this because it helps highlight the kids who are putting in even more work at home in terms of making breeding selections and raising these kids from raising the goats from conception all the way to showing them out here. It's a very long time consuming kind of endeavor, and it takes a lot of work. So my compliments to them for that. The young lady's doe that came out of the first class is probably just the best looking doe from the side in terms of being neat and extended and youthful about her front end. I think she's sound in her structure. She needs to be quite a bit stouter out here for me, though. I'd like to see her a little bit more opened up in her chest and her body type, and just to be able to facilitate more mass and spread down her top and out through her hip, but still a good looking kind of a doe from the side. A young man's doe that's out of the second class is kind of giving him some fits out here, but when she finally settles in, that's another one who's fresh and youthful in the way that she balances from the side, and she's quite a bit just rounder bodied and more muscular and dimensional than the other does out here in terms of just shape down their top and out through their hip. I would like to see her just a little bit leveler out through their tail base and a little bit more elevated there at her chest floor, but still a very nice kind of a doe in her own right. A young lady's dappled doe out of the oldest division is a good structured, big bodied kind of a female. She's just starting to show her maturity out here. She's playing her up there through her front end, down through her neck and her chest. Doesn't have the same kind of just muscularity or shape down her top as some other ones out here. So with that being said, the young man out of the second class is going to have our champion. A young lady's doe out of the first class will be our reserve. Let's give him a round of applause.
Congratulations to our champion homebred and raised breeding goat. That went to Jack Alshwade. Reserve champion homebred and raised breeding goat went to Lila Alshwade. Those awards are sponsored by Gage County 4-H Council. Next to enter the ring, we will get the first and seconds from the last classes back into the ring to choose our grand and reserve breeding goat.
out here in this lineup of does out here. Another really competitive division, but I think the doe show has been really nice all the way through, but I think this young man so out of the commercial division is just in a different league compared to the other ones out here. He's going to go ahead and our champion, and we'll follow up with the reserve in that division for overall. Let's give them a round of applause.
Congratulations to our grand champion breeding goat. That went to Grant James. That award is sponsored by First State Bank of Nebraska. Reserve grand champion went to Wyatt Involdson. That award is sponsored by Farm Credit Services of America. Congratulations. We'll move on to our market meat goats classes, and we will start with Group 1 of does and wethers.
A nice pair of goats to kick off our market division. A young man spot back doe that's going to go ahead and win. Kind of just dominates this class from just a stoutness and power standpoint. She's easily the densest about her skull. She's the broadest in her chest, the roundest in her rib cage, and feeds a ton of shape down her top and out through her hip. She's not perfect from a build and balance standpoint, but I still think she reads athletic enough in the way that she's put together to compensate for to pair with the kind of just muscularity and power and dimension that she brings to the table. The young lady's doe that's going to come here in second is the longer neck, taller shoulder doe that's just a little bit stronger there in her top line, out through her hip, and she blends smoother from her shoulder into her forerib. Just doesn't feed the same kind of just mass and dimension as our class winner does up high, but still a nice one to end up there in second. A young lady's doe that's going to come here in third is another one that balances really well from the side. I particularly like her added length and extension that she brings to the table over the doe that's going to follow right behind her. When you get right on top of this one, she does handle well with the kind of shape down her top and out through her hip. She's just not opened up enough there in her chest or in her rib cage or out through her pin set. Just need to see her just a bit wider. Young lady's doe that's going to come here in fourth balances really well from the side. She's neat fronted. She's good in her lower body because she's tucked up in her chest and soft back into her flank. Another one that just needs to be wider and more opened up for her to work up any higher. A young man's dapple weather that's going to come out next is a high performing goat that just needs more shape down his top and out through his hip. And then the young men's weathers that are going to round us out, a really loose structured kind of goats that are just greener at this stage of the game. I need some more time and days on feed for them to bulk up, but their structure and body reads like they're going to continue to get better with time. I just need to get there. But let's go ahead and give those kids a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our purple ribbon winners from Group 1. That was Wyatt Involdson and Lena Oshwade. Receiving blues was Emma Lane, Barrett Haxby, Briar Myers, Jack Oshwade, and Hudson Hubka. Entering the ring now is Group 2 Market Goats. Here's your reminder for all market livestock interested in the premium auction. If you have an animal that you would like to put on the auction on Sunday, we need to have you get a form from the table and from the announcer stand. You'll need to fill out that form and return it back to the fair office before the end of the day tomorrow. So it says 1 hour after the swine show tomorrow. You must deliver this entry form. So if you are interested in the livestock premium auction, all market animals, make sure that you get a form and filled out and returned by the end of the day tomorrow.
Another nice group of Weathers out here. Young ladies, Weathers going to go ahead and win very easily. Easily just the most muscular, most powerful, and most shapely goat out here in terms of just a back shape and power out through his hip. I still think he balances up good enough out here. Still reads with the right kind of look when he's on the move. Nice one to go ahead and lead off with. Gets really close here between second and third, and I think you can certainly offer some trade-offs. When you get your hands on him, though, the young man's Weather that I opted to side with has more shape right out of the backside of his shoulder and over his loin, and then from the side he's just a little bit neater there at the base of his chest. Helps him balance up just a shot better. But the young man's painted up Weather that's going to come here in third is just a shot bigger in his foot. He's rounder in his body type, and I appreciate those things about him a good deal. He's just too plain, and his touch and handle up high. Want to neaten him up there at the base of his chest as well. I think those pair of Weathers is very close. A young man's Horned Weather that's going to come out here in fourth is another muscular kind of goat that has a lot of shape down through his lower leg and stifle. He's just plainer in his shape up high, not quite as neat in the way that he's put together from the side when compared to the trio directly ahead of him. The young lady's Weather that's going to come out here in fifth is a really hard touching kind of a goat that's lean and expressive of his muscle shape. He's just not opened up enough out here. He needs to be wider in his chest, rounder in his rib cage, and stouter out through his pin set for him to work up any higher. And the two others that are rounding out the class, a very good structured, good bodied kind of goats that just need a fresher, more expressive shape down their top and out through their hip for them to compete with their contemporaries out here. But let's go ahead and give those exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our class winner. That was Lila Oshwade. Also receiving a purple in that class was Bentley Myers. Receiving blue were Nora Oshwade, Ryan Hohensee, Kaylor Smith, Blake Them, and Brendan Them. Entering the ring next is going to be Group 3 Market Goats.
really nice trio of weathers up here at the top end. The young ladies' weather that we're going to go ahead and lead off with. Not only is he just the most massive, the most powerful, most dimensional goat out here, but he's also the best in his handle up high. I think he balances good from the side. I wish he was just a little bit bigger footed and thinner neck just to help him read just a shot more athletic, but his lower body balance is good, his structure's right. He's easily the best from a muscularity and handle standpoint. A nice one to go ahead and lead off with. A young man's weather that's going to come here in second as a really long-necked, big-footed kind of a goat who I think reads nice in his structure. He's got the right kind of touch and tone up high. It's just when you compare him back to our class winner, he's not nearly as just massive in his shape down his top or out through his hip. From the side, needs to be tucked up in his chest for him to help him just balance up just a shot better. This weather that's going to end up here in third, I think this dude is incredibly high quality. I think there's a ton to like in him. He's just pretty hard to read on out here. He's not really just loving the idea of being a show goat, but I think his look up front, his bone, and his touch and tone when you get your hands on him could be extremely good when he gets settled in for this young man. Out here, him fighting the halter is just kind of exaggerating the fact that he's just not good enough in his top line or out through his hip. I want to just open him up in his forerib as well, but a very, very good one to be staying third in this particular class. A young lady's goat that's going to come out here in fourth is of the next two. A good balance kind of a goat that's better in her structure, has more turn down through her lower leg and stifle, just not nearly as shapely or muscular as the trio that are preceded today. The black-headed weather that's going to come out next is a shot rounder in his body type than the one that's directly ahead of him, but just same time, he's just too plain in his touch up high. I want to see him have more shape down through his lower leg and stifle. The two others or two goats that are going to round us out. Another pair of goats that are really good in their structure, loose in the way that they're put together. Just need a little bit greener in their condition today. They're just not as bulky or stout or massive as some other ones out here, but let's go ahead and give those exhibitors a round of applause.
Congratulations to Grant James, who had the first and second purple in that last class. Receiving blues was Evelyn Haxby, Wyatt Involdson, Morgan Rice, Reagan Pfeiffer, and Brinley Pfeiffer. Next into the ring is going to be Group 4 Market Goats. After Group 4, we'll pick our Grand and Reserve Champion Meat Goat. So if you were a first or second purple out of any of the groups tonight, please start making your way back to the ring so we can pick a champion. Again, goat exhibitors, if you have a market animal that you want on the auction on Sunday, you need to come get a form from in front of the announcer stand, fill that out, and return it to the fair office before the end of the swine show tomorrow. So if you have a animal you would like to put on the premium auction, you need to come get a form and get it filled out.
A nice pair of weathers here at the top end of this class. I think definitely offer some trade-offs, but the young man's weather, for his look from the side, he reads just a shot more athletic and youthful, and then when you get your hands on him, I think it shows through because he's easily just fresher in his touch and his tone up high. He's squarer to his edges. He's got more shape and muscularity to him. Ultimately why he's going to go ahead and win this particular class today. The young lady's weather that's going to come here in second is another good-looking, good balance kind of a goat. I think he's just a shot thinner necked and shallower chested, which aids to his balance from the side. I like how round-bodied he is as well. He's just a little bit heavier in his condition out here. He's pretty just soft and plain to the touch when you get your hands on him. I want to stout him up in his bone work as well. A young man's weather that's going to come out here in third is probably just the leanest and hardest touching one in this particular set. He's big and square out of the backside of his shoulder and over his loin. From the side, he's just a little bit too plain in how he's put together. He's got thicker neck, deeper chested, and rounder hip. I want to see him balance up just a shot more athletic in this build, but still a very good touching kind of a goat to be sitting third in this class. A young lady's black weather that's going to come out here in fourth is another one who's opened up in his chest. He's round in his body type, and he's really a dimensional. From the side, he's just more off behind his shoulder and round out through his hip, but he's ultimately fourth today because he's just too soft and plain when you get your hands on him. I want to see him just fresher and more expressive. The doe that's going to round out the class is a good-bodied, easy fleshing kind of a doe that just needs more bone and muscularity to compete out here. But let's go ahead and give those kids a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our class winner, Grant James. Also receiving a purple was Emma Wollenberg. Receiving blues was Austin March, Elizabeth Rice, and Landon Swanson. We'll now invite our first and second purples back into the ring to choose our grand champion and reserve grand champion, Market Meat Goat. Our judge tonight was Cal Schultz, and he's originally from Faribault, Minnesota, where he grew up on a diversified livestock operation. Cal attended Butler Community College, where he was a member of the Junior College Livestock Judging Co-Team of the Year. He then transferred to Oklahoma State, where he was a member of the 2022 National Champion Livestock Judging Team. He served as the assistant coach at Butler while obtaining his master's degree in meat science from Oklahoma State. He currently serves as a livestock judging team coach at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and is a lecturer in the animal science department. Thank you, Cal Schultz, for being our judge tonight. Following the selection of our grand and reserve, we will announce all of the ultrasound results. So if you had an animal in the ultrasound contest, it looks like there are about 12 of you. We'll need you back into the ring to announce results for the ultrasound contest.
Here in our lineup for the Market Goat Drive. My compliments to you exhibitors and families at home. I thought it's been a very enjoyable goat show here this evening in terms of just showmanship and presentation. I think you guys are doing a very, very nice job. But as it comes down to our champion and reserve Market Goats, I think there's one that probably just fits me best in terms of being muscular, powerful, and still athletic in their build when they're moving. And then it's just a little bit closer for reserve. I think there's some trade-offs between one that probably balances just a shot better from a structure standpoint, but one that's just has a huge advantage in terms of just touch and tone and a roundness of body type. But with that being said, I'll go out and show you who my favorite two are, but let's go ahead and put our hands together for these exhibitors.
Congratulations to our grand champion, Market Meat Goat, went to Grant James. That award is sponsored by Horseshoe Creek Boar Goats. Our reserve champion tonight went to Wyatt Involdson. That award is sponsored by Best Foot Forward 4-H Club. Congratulations, Market Meat Goat exhibitors. Next, we will have all of our ultrasound contest exhibitors into the ring so we can announce the ultrasound results. We're looking for Grant James, Morgan Rice, Lena Oshwade, Kaylor Smith, Briar Myers, Hudson Hubka, Lila, Jack Oshwade, Nora Oshwade, Bentley Myers, Elizabeth Rice, and Emma Wollenberg back into the ring. Receiving a red in our ultrasound contest went to Bentley Myers, Nora Oshwade, Jack Oshwade, Lila Oshwade, Hudson Hubka, Briar Myers, Kaylor Smith, and Lena Oshwade. Receiving purples in 5th place went to Emma Wallenberg. Receiving in a purple and receiving 4th place was Elizabeth Rice. Receiving purple and 3rd place went to Morgan Rice. And congratulations to our 1st and 2nd purple went to Grant James. Next in the ring will be our pygmy goat. There is a single entry pygmy goat. If you are competing in the best dressed goat contest, you will be after the pygmy goat. ring now is our pet goat.
Just a single entry in our pet goat division. This is Roxy. She is 8 years old. She's a rescue, and she is a member of the Whispering Acres Petting Zoo. So let's go ahead and put our hands together for her.
Congratulations to Waylon Overbeck for the Grand Champion Pet Goat. Entering the ring is our Best Dressed Goat contest.
Well, this is the problem. I can check this off my bucket list, judging a goat dress-up contest. The young lady at the front of the line, she's obviously a cheerleader, and that is her real cheer uniform. So that's dedication right there. Young man with the goat for sale, he told me that was real blood on her shirt, which I don't know if I should be impressed or kind of grossed out. But again, very dedicated to the dress-up contest. Young man came up with this idea by himself to play football, or to have the football jersey and the football dressed-up goat. And then we have the beekeeper. He said his mom made him do it, and and then this guy's obviously very dedicated to the craft. He has a wedding invite, I guess, in his hand that has pictures dating every year. Him and Roxy have been at the county fair. It took him 5 years to propose, so I don't know what's going on there, but with that being said, I think he can go ahead and be our champion. And then for reserve, I don't know. I think it's very competitive. Do we need to do like a clap off or something? Sure. Okay. I picked him for champion. Y'all can pick the reserve. Who thinks the cheerleader should be reserve? What about the kid who got beat up by his horse and then brought his goat out here? That's close. What about the football? And the beekeeper? Okay. I think it's a tie between those two at the front. Do we need to redo that? Okay. Between the cheerleader or the kid who's getting abused by his animals. Do the cheerleader, everybody clap for her if you think she should win. And the young man with the blood on his shirt. I think that's him. I think he got it. He's going to go ahead and be a reserve. Let's go put our hands together for these kids for coming out.